I would love to know what you think of this theory where people say that every pain and every illness that visits your body is actually the manifestation of some kind of emotional thought, or that pain or illness is trying to teach you something and it won't leave you until you've learned it.
I mean, I think there's a lot of truth in that. When you get very sick, it's hard enough to be sick without someone saying, well, you created that. But there is no doubt that your thoughts are things. Every thought you think creates a physical reaction and an emotional response. So if you think, I'd kill for a day off, I'd give anything to have a day lying on my sofa doing nothing, of course mine goes, oh, well, that's a direct command. You want a day lying around doing nothing? Let me give you the flu. Let me give you chronic diarrhea. So we have to be very careful because our body does try to make our thoughts real. Every thought you think is not a thought, it's a blueprint. And your mind, your body, your psyche are working to make that blueprint real. So if your blueprint is, this traffic's killing me, my job is hell, this client is driving me crazy, this is just making me go insane, because your mind has to make those words real, then you are going to have a problem. So we have to be if your words shape your reality, if you don't like your reality, go back and take a look at how you're describing things. So again, there's no doubt that words can bring about illness, but every ill person on the planet hasn't become ill because of their language. About 70% have. Doctors will tell you that 70% of people turning up at the hospital have real illnesses. They are not caused by diseased organs. They're caused by diseased thinking. Wow. And that's very good news, because it's much easier to fix a diseased thought than it is to fix a diseased organ. But then we have to allow for people who get sick and things happen out of nowhere. So 70 to 90% of us.
Let's go further into this conversation about diseased thoughts and the aches, pains, and actual diseases of one's own body.
Sure.
I think this is a very important conversation for people in their 20s and 30s, primarily because we're not taught this in school or college.
Of course.
And it's one of those life skills. You have to have the ability to look inside your own body and understand what's going on. I genuinely believe that your shoulder pain is not as simple as just being shoulder pain. That random backache is not as simple as being a random backache.
Well, doctors will tell you the source of the pain is very rarely the source of the problem. And in RTT, I've trained 20,000, many of them in India, and we say, look, the presenting problem is not the problem. The problem the client brings is, here's my problem. There's another problem underneath. And we have an expression called what lies beneath. And that's really the real problem. It isn't the problem. So I'll give you an example. I was a little boy who had eczema all over his arms and legs. It caused him a lot of pain. And when I was asking him a question, he was telling me that his mummy used to massage the new baby, and he wanted that. And he go, Mummy, can I be massaged? No, darling, you're a big boy. But Mummy, I want that. No, it's just for the baby. And then again, he said, but Mummy, I want you to massage me. He said, no. And of course, he thought a thought, and the thought was, I wish Mummy would massage me. But you see, this is the genie. Your wish is its command. He thought a thought, I want Mummy to massage me. And so lo and behold, he got eczema. And she was massaging him, putting cream and wet bandages on his body every night, because he thought a thought, and the mind made that thought real. So if you think of something sad, your eyes will fill up with tears. Think of something embarrassing, you might go bright red. Think of hunger, your stomach will rumble. Think of sex, you can become very aroused. And the most obvious is the placebo. What you think of a drug will affect you more than what's in that drug. So we already know that every day we think a thought and the body makes it real. And for him, that was so interesting. But the presenting problem, which is I've got eczema, the real problem is I want Mummy to spend time. She's now invested in that baby and I'm being left out, and I want to feel I matter to her. So it wasn't really the eczema. It's she likes that baby more than me. I've been replaced. I'm not her baby anymore. So often when a client comes in, and we in RTT, we're very good at saying there's only 3 things wrong with you. Whatever is wrong with you, it's really 3 things. The mind's going to create eczema or migraines or irritable bowel or even panic attacks. It's going to protect you, to punish you, or to prioritize you. If there was an umbrella, it'd be all of those 3 things and everything else is underneath it. So it helps not to go, okay, well, I get headaches, I get breakouts, I get an upset stomach. Is that to protect me, punish me, prioritize? It's going to be one of those three things. And once you work that out, you're halfway to being over it completely. And here's the thing you can do, which sounds so weird. You're lying in bed with leaky gut and you have to go, what's great about it? The answer is, of course, nothing. But if you say, no, what is great about it? I was talking to an alcoholic and said, what's great about it? He said, nothing. I said, no. If you had to answer that question, what is great about being an alcoholic? He went, well, no one asks me for anything. No one rings me up 2 a.m. and says, can you pick me up from the train station? No one asks me to drive them to work. No one asked me to come and look after their kids. No one asked me to lend them money because they know I'm an alcoholic. So actually, no one expects anything of me. And for him to be free of expectations mattered a lot. So it sounds a weird thing to say, what is great about this? People do, actually being ill is the first time I got to lie in hospital. People looked after me. Someone came and tapped my hand or get a vein up, and I never get any touch. And suddenly I felt significant. The word significant, one of our primary needs is to feel significant, to feel important, to feel we matter. And for many people, they only get that when they're sick.
Wow.
In fact, if you're a child and you're not sure you belong in the world, if you're not born with parents who appear to love you, the first thing a child does to reassure them that they matter is to get sick. Because getting sick is the very next best thing to being loved. Suddenly your mother's getting gluten-free flour, buying you special cream, coping with your allergies. You think, oh, look at that. She might not love me, but I'm important because look what they're doing. So many children whose needs aren't met, the first thing they do is to become sick. And it's so effective, they often never, ever give it up.
Gotcha. Again, I'm going to be a little vulnerable here and speak about something that happened in my life earlier. I dealt with a lot of skin trouble, not so much in my teenage, but weirdly in my early and mid 20s. Too much acne. And I figured that it's definitely linked to a lot of the things I was eating. But as I keep mulling over that thought as I grow older, I also realized that I was a very angry person at that phase of life. And a big part of letting go of the acne was related to letting go of the anger.
Yeah, well, the skin is the largest organ in the body and it responds to your thoughts. People say, when you're madly in love, you glow. And when you're very unhappy, your skin looks drawn and tense. So we know that the skin responds to our thinking. It's the most powerful organ that does. So when you're stressed, you break out.